Hello, Sanders Hand family. Sebastian Sanders here, the CEO and the founder of the Sanders Hand. Hey guys, I just want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support of our youth and our programs. We are super excited to announce this year's scholarship fund is dedicated specifically to HBCU students. First, we would like to thank all of our community and business partners for collaborating with us on this special project. Most importantly, thank you to our sponsors. Huge thank you to our sponsors, Chickasaw Community Bank here in Oklahoma City, and also HEB Grocery down in Texas. Hey guys, when you hear HBCU, you might not know what it is, and then you might know what it is. You know, when I first heard the term HBCU, I necessarily did not know exactly what that meant. And when I first heard HBCU, I was a sophomore in college at the time. And you may say, you were already enrolled throughout the whole admission process. Yes, I was already a student, already taking classes, and I was a sophomore when I first heard HBCU. And so you take that back to our high schools and our middle schools, and you start to really want to know, do our students really know HBCUs? Are our students exposed to HBCUs? And then you go back to our African American communities, and you start to wonder, where's the root of the problem that we face? What are the issues that we're facing, and how can we solve these issues moving forward? One of the issues is poverty. Second issue is education. And then you have lack of resources. And then last, you have representation. And when we talk about representation, we're talking about being on the front line, representing the African American community, representing to the fullest, talking about the different leaders, the different pioneers. But don't forget our HBCU colleges and students. Hey guys, did you know that HBCU students are responsible for only 3% of the entire world's population when it comes down to enrolled students? 3%. We're talking 3%, 1, 2, 3. And then you bring it back to, looking at it from a numerical standpoint, 3%, and let's say on a 100% scale, we're only accounting for 3% out of the 100% in the entire world when it comes down to enrolled students. But most importantly, or most specifically, our African American students, only 3%. Why is that? And then let's talk about the enrollment rate. We're enrolling about 10% of our students each year when it comes down to African American students, but you're only graduating 20%. And check this out. HBCUs, African Americans, let's eliminate HBCUs out of the equation this time. African Americans are only graduating at a 45.9% rate every year. And that's the lowest of all races and of all ethnicities. And so, you hear these numbers and you hear these statistics, and I hope I didn't bore you with all the numbers, but I want you to look at this on a larger scale. We have a problem. Myself being an African American male, I came out of the school system. I came out of the public school system. And I didn't know anything about an HBCU until I was already enrolled and admitted into my university. Now, I'm not saying no disrespect to my university that I graduated from, but if I might have been exposed to the HBCU opportunities, that were around me, coming from Houston, Texas, we had Texas Southern University. We had Prairie View right there in my home. Maybe if I was exposed to those schools and had the representation or the knowledge of those schools, my decision, could have been different. But that's neither here nor there. We have a huge problem that's going on in our communities. And it's time that we stand on the front lines, get to the root of the problem, and go and decide, and let's be the change. We're not going to look for the change and ask for the next person to come in our communities and help. We're going to stand on the front line and be the change. And that's exactly what the Sanders Hand is about. We operate off of 2 programs, education and community, based off of 3 core elements: empowerment, innovation, and diversity. And when we talk about those 3 core elements, how can we empower the next generation to feel happy, to feel successful by going to an HBCU? How can we be more innovative within our students and exposing them with opportunities, internships, scholarships? And how can we promote diversity and really get behind our HBCUs? Now, you have some amazing HBCUs who are always on the platforms, the Howards of the world, the Florida A&Ms. You got some really good HBCUs. But guys, let's be real. We got some small HBCUs that necessarily do not get enough recognition. Currently residing here in Oklahoma, I'll tell you guys a funny story. My first college letter was from Langston University. I remember this, I was a junior. I think I just took my SAT at the time, and I was like, you know what? I got my first college letter. It said Langston. I remember it had the big L with the tiger on the front. I think it was a tiger. And so I got that letter, I went home, I was super excited, and I'm thinking, at this time I'm a junior, I'm not really exposed to the college world yet. I'm thinking this is a school maybe like in New York or something like that, and it said Oklahoma. And I was like, at the time I didn't know exactly what Oklahoma was. So, I always cherished that letter because it was my first letter. And so, crazy how the world works, the universe works. 5 years later, I'm currently here residing in Oklahoma City. And my first speaking engagement that I did in Oklahoma was actually at Langston University, where I got my first college letter from. And so you just start to think about things like that. Schools like that have such a rich tradition by being the only HBCU in the entire state of Oklahoma. But you necessarily never hear about these schools unless you know somebody that went there or you're actually living in this area. But just think about across the world. We're not even just talking about Langston. There's schools all across the world that are HBCU schools, but they don't get the recognition or the respect that they deserve. And this time that we close that gap. And I want to give you guys a number, and I want you guys to really soak this in. Because one of the problems that we're plagued with, especially African Americans, as we talk about the 4 problems that we faced, is the lack of economical resources and the lack of economical knowledge. And when we talk about that, we're talking about financial. We're talking about the lack of financial literacy, knowing about money, knowing how to bank, knowing about your credit, knowing how to get loans and things like that, and just not having enough resources in our communities. And then you start to look at the average median income in a household of an African American in the public community. We're looking at about $38,000 a year. Now, $38,000 a year in a major city with kids. Let's be real, guys. It's not enough for a family, to take care of the kids, put the kids through college and things of that nature. And you sit back and you see, the different problems that we're facing with it as a community, and we have to ask ourselves, what can we do? What can I do? What can you do? What can we do together? And this scholarship is specifically to address that gap, to address that income gap that we have in our communities. Did you know that the African American community is responsible for $1.2 trillion worth of spending money? $1.2 trillion per year. Now that number is probably going to go up, eventually, but $1.2 trillion. That's a lot of money that's coming through our community. But let's also think about it like this. We're responsible for $1.2 trillion, but what exactly is that money influencing, or what does it represent as you go back through our African American communities? What exactly are we doing with the $1.2 trillion? You get where I'm going with that. And so you look at $1.2 trillion, and then you start to go and look at our communities, you look at our schools, you look at our students, you look at our future generation, and I just don't know exactly what we're doing with $1.2 trillion. We're spending a lot of money in today's world and society, but are we putting enough money back to better our communities? Now, don't get me wrong. Here at the Assembly of Saying, we're all about bettering our communities, and we have seen tremendous change in our communities. We see a lot of people out there on the front lines leading the change. But guys, if we're responsible for $1.2 trillion, can we at least get a percentage of that? That's primarily, and when I say primarily, I mean the primarily focus of that is going back to our students, our HBCUs. Guys, you get where we're going with this. And so we look at that, and we decided this year we're going to dedicate this award to HBCU students in our African American community. We want to help close that gap. And so this year's scholarship, guys, I'm super excited to get this out. This year's startup fund, our scholarship is a startup fund. We're giving out a scholarship for HBCU students, current enrolled HBCU students, to get some money to start their own business. Guys, we're going to give you $1,000 plus. We're going to hook you up with some of the best Black businesses in your local community. We're going to hook you up with a resume. We're going to get you on an 8-week coaching program to go along with your scholarship fund. And we're going to give you the tools and the resources to start your own business. One of the things that's been promoted heavily over the last year is Black businesses and Black ownership. I remember Tyler Perry, he told his story about, being able to own everything, own his studios, own all his movies. And we watched that entire interview in our Sanders Hand meeting, and this is how this scholarship came about. And we were just super amazed and like, wow, for a pioneer to come and own everything and to do it his way, and we were super excited. And to see the work that he does in Atlanta, and all across the world for HBCU students and the African Americans period, it's just amazing to see. And here at the Sanders Hand, how can we do our part? How can we do our part and pledge, our devotion and our mission and our purpose back to our community? Like I said myself, I'm an African American male. One of the things that my society or my culture is plagued with as being a young male is your success is prematurely defined on being a rapper or athlete, right? You come out, if you're a rapper or athlete, everybody looks at you like you're successful. And we want to change that narrative, not only for our males, but for our young girls as well, our young women as well. And so this scholarship is going to provide you with the funds. I'm excited. This scholarship, you're looking at an LLC startup, right? Let's say you have an amazing business idea. You're looking to get this business off the ground. You're looking to get funding, but you want to get your LLC so you can apply for some grants. You want to be able to get a business loan. A business credit card. And so you're looking at it, but you don't have the funds to get your LLC. This scholarship is going to help you solve that problem. The LLC average startup is about $300, right? So you're looking at about getting a scholarship for you to apply for your LLC, then also have money to pour back into your marketing, get your raw materials, get your raw resources, get your ads going. We want to help you get off the ground. We don't want to have just an amazing idea. We want to support you with the funds, but also put you in the doors with the people who can make things happen for you. Same thing for your nonprofit. Let's say you want to start a nonprofit. I believe the nonprofit's startup fee for your 501c3 is right around $275. We're giving you the funds for that, and also to pour back into your business. And so it's important, that we get this award out to you guys, because we want to help solve that economical gap that we have in our African American communities. With this scholarship, let's say you take your funds, you start your own LLC, right? And you start your LLC, and you put money into raw materials, and you want to get your t-shirts made, you want to get your bags made, you want to get bulk wholesale items. This is what the scholarship is going to do. But most importantly, you getting your LLC is going to open up the doors for you to go and apply for a business credit card, right? And we're not going to just give you money, guys, and say, hey, here you go, start your LLC. No, I'm going to coach you. Myself and my team of business partners and the people who have helped me in my life, we're going to coach you through 8 weeks after the completion of the scholarship. We're going to coach you for 8 weeks throughout the whole entire summer to show you the ins and the outs. I'm going to show you the mistakes that I made, and I'm going to show you how to not make those mistakes. I'm going to give you the game and the blueprint to go along with your scholarship for you to be a successful business owner. Guys, the HBCU College Business Startup Fund 2021. And this year's award is it's named after my late grandmother, Juanita Sanders. Dedicating this whole entire award to her because, she wasn't allowed to see me go to college. And I know she's looking down on us and the things that we're doing, but naming this after her because she would have loved to see her baby boy go off to college. And, this is important, guys, because we're building a legacy. This scholarship is going to open up doors for students to start their own business and create generational wealth and success for their families. That's the biggest thing here at the Center's Hand. We want you to create generational wealth and success. And with this scholarship, we're going to help you get to that next level. I am so honored. I am so excited. I can't tell you guys how excited I am to roll this scholarship out. And we're looking at the application dates of March 22nd. It's going to start on a Monday. It's going to roll all the way through May 10th. So we're going to give you guys about a solid, 2 months to kind of get your business proposal together, get your essay together, apply. If you are a current HBCU student, I don't see why you haven't applied yet. You're on your phone, you're on Instagram, you Snapchat it up, you're on TikTok. Take an hour out of your time, apply for the scholarship, because you never know. You can get the funding to change your family's trajectory. You can change the income of your family for the rest of their lives. I encourage you all to apply. For my HBCU alumni, for my HBCU businesses, holler at us, network with us. Let's put something together for our students to help promote them. To celebrate our winners, we're going to have a virtual ceremony in May after the scholarship deadline ends. We're going to have this in May. It's going to be fun. It's going to be virtual. We want to protect ourselves and practice social distancing. We know the world is opening back up, but we still want to abide by the rules and make sure everybody's protected and safe. We're going to have a virtual ceremony. We're going to have a guest speaker. You're going to be able to listen in from Chickasaw Community Bank. They're going to come in. HEB is going to be there. You're going to have a lot of different business owners, a lot of different business moguls in the HBCU world going to be on this virtual ceremony to celebrate you. And to go with this, we're going to have some special gear. We're getting some t-shirts made for you guys. We're going all in. We're going to really do this the big way. You know how Sanders Hand do it. Every year we pour a lot into our students. Not just in scholarship money, but we give you guys a lot of resources. And that's exactly what we're doing this year. From the bottom of the entire hearts of the whole entire Sanders Hand family. Thank you guys so much for the continued support of our youth and our programs. If you haven't already, tell a friend. If you have a friend that goes to that goes to an HBCU school, tell them, hey, apply for this scholarship today. Go and get some free money to start your business and change your life, change your family's life, but most importantly, create that generational wealth and success. Thank you guys so much. Sebastian Sanders here. If you haven't already, visit our website at www.sandershand.org. Go into the scholarship tab and apply for the scholarship today. Applications end on May 10th. And if you haven't already, guys, go visit our website, subscribe, become a monthly donor, follow our Instagram, like our page, guys. Your support goes a long way. When we started in 2017, I couldn't imagine us to be where we are today. And that's because of you. You believed in us. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed day. And good luck to all of our scholarship applications. Thank you.